All right, here with Justin Cogar, coach of the Westside Renegades. Justin, a big game for you on Friday with Indepedence coming in. Their coach, John Lilly, guy you know well, is always, when he took over that program, said he wanted to be in the same talk with the Bluefields and the Fairmonts of the state. Are you kind of in that situation where now you want to be mentioned with like the Independents? Are they a team that you aspire? I don't. No two teams are alike, but to be in the same situation.
Right. Yeah, it's the same mentality for me when I came in. Not to disrespect any other teams on our schedules, but to be successful, you really want to be mentioned with the top tier programs. And Coach Lilly's done a great job to build Independence into what it is now. When I was in school, they weren't thought of as a top program in the state, and now they are. So we're excited about our opportunity to play against them and see where we stack up. Because we want to be mentioned in that same category, and that's a goal that I've had and our players have had since I took over here.
What's the number one thing you have to, aside from the scoring of the points, which wins games and holding them out? What do you have to do to be successful against a team like that?
They do a lot of things really well, and it all starts offensively with Silas Nelson. I think he's one of the best players in our area. He can do a lot of things well. The freshman quarterback, Brock Green, does a good job throwing the ball. They've got good skill players. They're very physical on both sides of the ball. So for us, we have to match the physicality. We have to limit the big plays, and we have to kind of control the line of scrimmage. I think if we do those things well, we've got a good chance to win the game.
You didn't look ahead because you didn't lose games. I mean, are you concerned that you're giving up 22 points to a team that you feel like you probably should have been in a close game with Pikeville, or did those things are those just the growing pains with getting to this point in the season?
Well, I think, a lot of times it's hard. We say we don't want to look ahead, but I think this game has kind of been looming for a couple weeks, and people have talked about it, and our players have thought about it, whether I tell them to not think about it or whatever. But, this is kind of the opportunity that we've been looking forward to, and I think we've had 2 games in a row where we haven't played particularly well. We played better in the second half once we made adjustments. So it just comes down to our preparation this week of making sure that we're ready to come out in the first half and get off to a better start. Because against a team like Independence, we're not going to be able to come out and start slow and be able to make our way back in the game.
When you look at their game at Oak Hill, I mean, a lot of respect for a team that will go for 2 and a win on the road, or.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I would do the same thing, especially on the road. You're not playing for the tie. You play to win the game, and the same situation happened in the state championship last year with North Marion and Fairmont Senior, and that's a coaching decision that you live with, because you work every day from the 1st of August until this point, and you go on the road, you try to win the game. So I agree with that.
You mentioned Silas Nelson being one of the best players in the area, which I agree with you. He definitely is. You got one yourself in Caden Vance, and he's coming close to probably a lot of records the records that you said a lot of people thought he wouldn't be, and he's already broke a couple. How much fun is it to watch him, and what kind of I know he's a little bit different than you. What kind of similarities do you see between what you were able to do and what he's doing on Friday nights now?
Well, I think he's got to the point now where he's taken over in games, where in the past I feel like he maybe didn't do that as much and kind of let other factors dictate what he did on the field. And now I think we get in situations where when we need a big play, he goes and makes it, whether it be through the air or on the ground. He's fully in control on offense, and it gives me a lot of comfort, because I don't feel that we have to call a perfect play, because a lot of times he can turn a broken play into a touchdown. So just being able to watch that, it's exciting watching him and our receivers work together, and the things that they've done so far are impressive, and we look to build on it.
What makes a guy like Kyler Kennedy so explosive? I would think that speed has something to do with it, but you also have to catch the ball. The guy's averaging about 25 yards per reception. What's tops on his resume as far as skill set goes?
I think it's a combination of things that he does well. He's got some sneaky speed that doesn't always look that way on film, and it's different in person. He does a really good job in his route running of finding the blind spot and then taking advantage of that, and then, like I said, finishing it and making the catch and scoring. He probably would have had 2 more touchdowns Friday night. He had 2 drops, which was unlike him, but he makes a lot of big plays for us. Whether it be a short catch that turns into a big gain or getting open on the deep ball, which is they have a great connection and chemistry on the deep ball. So I'm sure that's something that Independence will be prepared for. So we have to find ways to get our best players the ball in space, and that's kind of what we do offensively.
Cole and Lester's the guys kind of moved around, some in the backfield, some in the slot. It seems like you're using him a lot more in the slot this year. What makes him special?
Kind of a lot of the same things.
I think he's leading you in reception.
Right. He's a really good blocker. He's really good in the quick game and the screen game. He's a guy that's comfortable with the running back background a little bit. So when he catches our shorter throws, he feels comfortable turning upfield and getting extra yards after contact and after catch. So like I said, he leads us in receptions. So he runs very hard routes, and you can see in practice, if you watch him practice, he's 100% in everything that he does, and so that just builds that timing and chemistry with Caden, and on Fridays he gets open and makes those plays.
Austin Bishop is a guy that didn't even play football until a couple of years ago. He said he was a little nervous last year. Seems like he's grown into his role and accepted his role in this offense as well as a receiver.
Yeah, Austin does a great job. He's one of the best route runners that we have. Again, finding that blind spot when he's running routes, and he's long. He's got long arms. He can jump, run, and catch the ball, and make a lot of plays in different ways. But he's very smooth in his route running, and he may not look another guy that doesn't look extremely fast on film, but in person he does a good job of finding space and getting open, and he makes a lot of catches for us.
Did you foresee these guys being as explosive as they've been? Maybe when Austin wasn't here yet, but when you took over the program, a lot of these guys were already in, were coming up into it. Did you foresee them being as explosive as they've been? And you look at the numbers, like I said, your quarterback's already thrown over 1,000 yards. I think he might be one of the top rushers in the area too, which I know you respect that, and that was a lot like your own game. But did you see it?
No, I mean honestly, 2 years ago when I started here, Kyler and Colton both played for the first year, and they played when they were younger, but they hadn't played in a couple years. They both played a little bit of JV. When Austin came over, he hadn't played in a couple years, so I didn't really foresee it coming to this point. But those guys have bought in to our off-season program, and in practice they do a great job, and they just continue to get better and better and better. And they're all competitors, and that's their mindset is what has got us to this point, because they don't want to be average. They want to be the best that they can be, and they've continued to do that. And all summer we did our 7-on-7s and all that stuff, and really worked on our passing game to get to where we are now.
How much of it is because your quarterback is so precise on his throws? And I want to kind of give them credit too, because like I said, you got to catch the ball. How much of it is it of his throws and their ability to run routes and get into spaces where they're open?
I think both of those things are what makes our passing game special. Having over 70% completion percentage for a high school quarterback is not very common, and that's something that Caden and I talked a lot about during the offseason. We wanted to work on is get our completion percentage higher. So we can lean on our passing game a little more, and we can get completions. We can take what's there, and he's done a great job of that, of not always trying to make the hero play, but taking what's open. And our receivers have bought into getting open, even when they're not going to make the hero play. But we're getting yards, and we're moving the ball downfield.
Well, he said his favorite receiver of the bunch is whichever one of them is open.
That's right.
I'm sure as a former quarterback yourself, you're going to appreciate that sentiment.
Yeah, absolutely. And he spreads the ball around. He doesn't. A lot of times you see guys that kind of make a decision pre-snap where they're going to go with the ball, and we don't. Caden doesn't do that anymore. He's going to take what's there and make the right play.
When were you able to do that?
Well, I would like to say probably my junior into senior year. I think I got more comfortable in the same way that he has with experience to get older and more comfortable with the offense to be able to take what's there. Because as a young quarterback, it's hard because you want to win the game on every snap. And you have to get out of that and be composed and in control, and Caden's done a great job of that.
Was that the biggest transition for you, going from a former player, to coach? You can't win the game any one play unless it's the last one.
Right.
And it's tied or something.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to get used to. And another thing is just that I have to just put these guys in positions to be successful, and hopefully they go out there and execute. And so far we've done that. So I'm excited with where we're at right now.
What's the nicest compliment you've heard about your passing game?
That Caden sees the game the same way that I see the game, and that's a very true statement. That he's really a coach on the field. A lot of times he sees things when a play happens and kind of leads us into our next play, and we have good trust in each other with our play calling and really work together on it, and things we like and things we don't like. And that's the biggest compliment for me, is that we see the game in the same way, and that just makes our offense even better.
Do you feel kind of blessed because you've got that quarterback? Sometimes people will have a good quarterback and they'll have a huge year, then the receivers leave, and the production plummets just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely blessed to have both. It's rare to have a group of receivers like we have, and also have a quarterback to go with it. And that's why we're excited. The community's excited. We feel like we have a really good chance to make some noise this year because we've got a lot of tools, and we've also got 5 offensive linemen that are studs as well. Those guys have worked extremely hard, and they give us time to throw. They get us open lanes in the run game. They're active in the screen game. So we feel like we're pretty well-rounded this year.
Is defense going to be your biggest concern on Friday night, though? You got to find a way to probably limit the big explosive plays. If you look at their tapes, like Nicholas County, a lot of what Silas Nelson did getting in the end zone was set up by long plays.
Yeah.
You feel like you've got to be a little better than you've been through the first 5 on defense?
Yeah, it's a major focus always when you play a team like Independence to limit the big play and make them put drives together and long drives and score that way. Because like you said, if you let those plays, a 4-yard gain turn into a 40-yard gain, bad things can happen. And it's hard on a defense when you can't get off the field. And we have to be able to weather the storm. They're probably going to score some points. They're going to get some yards, but we got to continue to play the game and go with the waves of momentum and continue to fight.
Just real quick, look at your career, where you've got Caden at right now. I think you told me that you thought he was a little bit better in the passing game than you were your senior year.
Yeah.
Does that still hold true?
Oh yeah. I think he throws the ball better.
70% completion.
You can't argue with that. The numbers don't lie. He throws the ball really well. He's accurate, and he's done a better job in the run game this year too. But that's something that we're constantly working on is getting better. What can we do to be better? What can he do to be better, and our whole team? So, but yeah, the accuracy is something that we talked about, and we hope to continue on that.
He's kind of maybe the last couple of weeks not done as much in the run game? Is that because he's not had to? Because it looks like a lot of times when something breaks down, he's not afraid to take off. I think he did that at least on one of the films I saw.
Yeah, it's a little bit out of design and a little bit out of necessity. Just we've been the last 2 games we've thrown for 250 yards in each of those games, and we've got some more production out of our run game from our running backs. So that's why
that's key in
the rushing yards dipped a little bit, but we're finding some things in the run game that we like and we hope to build on. But we've always got the ability, and quarterback run is hard to defend at any level. So that's something that we continuously work on, and it's good for us. Which record do you think he wants to break the most up here? And he told me what it is, and it's not really a record, so that might give it away. He probably wants to advance past the semifinals. I hope.
The state championship.
I hope that.
Yeah, I said, if you broke one of his records, which ones would you hold over his head? Like, I got it now. He says state title.
We could share that one together, so that would be good for us both.
Well, you are the coach.
That's
so.
right.
And you can make him run laps after he says it. So, all right, hey, Justin, I appreciate your time, man. We'll see you on Friday night.
Thank you. Sounds good.